Today we are going to discuss about cross-cluster replication for Amazon OpenSearch Service. Cross-cluster replication in Amazon OpenSearch Service lets you replicate indices, mappings, and metadata from one OpenSearch Service domain to another. It follows an active-passive replication model where the follower index pulls data from the leader index. Cross-cluster replication ensures high availability in the event of an outage. It allows you to replicate data across geographically distant data centers to reduce latency. In this diagram, you can see there's a follower domain and there's a leader domain. The first step is to create a cross-cluster connection between these two domains. After that, follower domain can go and pull the data from leader domain and replicate. Let's see how can we do that in a lab environment. Here I have two different clusters. One is M5 large 4. This is going to act as the leader, and then M5 large 1. This is going to act as follower. So before we do any configuration, we need to make sure the both domains meet the prerequisites. There are two prerequisites we need to think about. One is, again, both of them are going to be under security configuration. One is fine-grained access control, that should be enabled. The second one is node-to-node encryption, that also should be enabled. Good. Let's go to the leader and check. Fine-grained access control, yes. And then node-to-node encryption, yes. Good. After that, we need to go to the leader node. Again, we are already here. We need to modify this access policy. So I'm going to add this access policy here. Basically, I'm going to add an element here. What I'm doing here is I'm telling, like any external systems, any system can make a call to this leader node for ES cross-cluster get. That's what I'm enabling here. And we need to save these changes. Beautiful. After that, we need to go to the follower domain and create a connection between follower and leader. Let's go here, connection. To create a connection, it's going to be an outbound connection. Follower is going to send a request to leader. So I'm going to request here, and we need to put a connection alias. For the simplicity, I'm going to use the follower domain name as is, as the alias. And here, again, you can always connect to a destination cluster within your account or another account as well. So the next step is selecting the leader domain where I want to, which one is that? So here the leader domain is M5 large 4, which is M5 large 4, this one right here. Select this one. I'm going to request it. So now you can see here, it's pending acceptance. So what we need to do is we need to go to the leader domain and go to the connections. Under connections, we can see there's a pending acceptance as well. So this request came from follower to leader. Now leader needs to approve it. Basically, we are approving this connection. Done. So once connections are approved, next step is we can suddenly go and start to play with replication. So let's go and open the Kibana dashboard for leader node. And I'm going to close it here. And we are going to go to the dev tools. Here we can direct write queries. I have some of the queries already written. The first query is we are going to create an index called leader01. So let's run this one. Good, it's created. So the next step is we need to go to the follower and we need to open the Kibana dashboard for the follower. And I am going to run a specific script here in DevTools, which will be this one. So what I am doing here, I am making a connection to the leader. The leader alias is connection aims, this is the leader alias. Good. And then basically we are enabling the connection here and creating an index based on the leader index itself. And let's check one more time, is this the correct name for the alias or not? So how do you find that? You have to go to the connection string here. This is the connection alias. So I would copy here and we need to paste the connection alias right here. Good. Now let's run this one. Good. It's acknowledged. It's started. Perfect. Now we can check the status of replication on follower 1. So to do that, I'm going to run this specific script. Basically, I'm checking the status for the follower 1. Good. It's saying that it's singing because it's user initiated. This is the leader alias, leader index, and follower index. Good. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the leader node and going to insert a document, which is this one. I'm going to put a document. Document ID is 1. This is the document content or properties. So I'm going to insert that one. Good. Now let's go to follower and see, did that get replicated? So basically I would run this specific script for that purpose. I'm going to search follower 1 index. Good, it came. So some of you might think, how do we post this replication once replication started? Is there any way to post the replication? Yes. To post the replication, we can use this post request. Now the replication is paused. But then, like again, if you want, you can certainly check the status again, see how this is behaving. Is it really got paused or not? Yep, it's paused. Now, if you want to resume it, guess what? Instead of pause in the end, we need to use resume. That should do the job. Now, suppose if you want to stop replication on follower 1 index, we can certainly use this command. You can see in the end we are appending different strings to do the job. Now it stopped. The next step is we can also create some replication rules, meaning that when you replicate, we only want to replicate certain indexes. How do we define that? Let me explain you after I put the script here. So first of all, to make this script work, we need to change the alias. So I'm going to use this alias right here. Good. And then we can keep the name as rule name, that's fine. What we are telling is when we want to replicate in the follower node from the leader index should start with book or books. If it is anything different than books, that will not be replicated. That's the rule we are applying here. So let's apply this rule. Now let's go to the leader node and create an index. Yes, so again, I'm going to create index books are fun, meaning that it's starting with books. I'm also creating another index called CSS test. Good. Now let's go to the follower and see, did we get those indexes both or one? What happened? Let's understand. What do you guys think? Are you going to get both or one? Let's see. So here you can see books are fun came, but we didn't get the CSS test. Why is that? Because we applied a specific condition here. We only copy the indexes that are starting with books, or we only sing the indexes that starts with books. That's the reason. Cool. That's all. Thank you for watching.